I saw blood and teeth in my vision. And then, my son disappeared. You can build a business empire from the ground up, raise a son alone, survive heartbreak, remarry, and still not be ready for what fate throws at you next. I warned her what it meant, seeing a bloody tooth in a dream. But Svetlana didn't believe in omens. Until it was nearly too late. Svetlana was not a superstitious woman. A self-made entrepreneur, she owned several retail shops across the city, and her calendar was always packed with meetings, logistics, and expansion plans. She'd survived a painful divorce, raised her only son Danilo single-handedly, and now was married to a calm, practical man named Yevon. But everything began to unravel after one haunting vision in the bathroom mirror. It happened on a quiet morning before a business trip. As she brushed her teeth, Svetlana caught her reflection, or what she thought was her reflection. In the fogged mirror, her own smile distorted, and one of her teeth fell out, dripping blood. She blinked, and it was gone. But the image clung to her mind like static. Later that day, she read online that a bloody tooth in a vision is a warning, a sign of death or loss within the family. At first, she rolled her eyes. But the unease lingered. So, she came to me. Blind Madam Grace. You've nothing to worry about in business, I told her plainly. This omen is not about your work. She looked confused. Then what is it about? I took a needle and embroidery thread from my apprentice courtier and placed it into Svetlana's hand. Sew a cross, I instructed. And while you do, name your loved ones, the ones closest to your blood. I only have my son, she replied. Danilo. My husband is dear to me, but Danilo is my only child. The thread snapped. There it is, I said grimly. The warning is for him. Your son. Svetlana's hand trembled. Is he in danger? Yes. Death lingers close to him, I said. You must stay out of his path. Let him live his life with his own mind and will. I raised him alone, she protested. I paid for his university, bought him a flat, helped him open a shop. He owes me. No one owes their life to another, I interrupted. If you want to keep him safe, stop steering the wheel. And most importantly, let him marry. Marry, she blinked. He doesn't have anyone. At least, not anymore. That's when I knew she had no idea. I gave her an embroidered charm and sent her home. But she didn't take my warning seriously. That afternoon, still rattled by our session, Svetlana decided to check on Danilo. He hadn't answered her calls in 2 days, not unusual during a busy week, but her mother's instinct itched. So she used the spare keys to enter his flat. She opened the door, and froze. A young woman stood barefoot in Danilo's hallway, wearing his t-shirt, holding a coffee mug. Who are you? Svetlana barked. The woman's smile froze. Who are you? I'm Danilo's mother. Oh, the girl said coolly. I'm his fiancée. Alya. Nice to meet you. Finally. Svetlana didn't hear anything after that. Her vision blurred. Fiancé. How long had this been going on? Why didn't her own son tell her? Before she could ask, Alya tossed a few documents onto the table. This is our wedding application. We're getting married next Friday. I'm taking his last name. And Danilo knows you're doing this? Svetlana hissed. Of course. It was his idea. I'm calling him right now. He won't answer. He's out playing football with his friends. And this is his apartment. I paid for it. He told me it was a gift. From a mother who wanted him to have independence, Alya said, too sweetly. Svetlana left in a daze. That evening, over herbal tea, she vented to her lifelong friend Victoria. She's got him wrapped around her finger, she spat. Wants to sell the apartment, take his name, and I'm sure she'll get pregnant any minute. You have to stop this wedding, Victoria said. He's too blind to see she's manipulating him. I know. I gave him everything. And this is how he repays me. There's still time, Victoria leaned in. Invite them to dinner. Make it nice. Then plant the seed about your upcoming trip, about how important family is, how fast weddings can lead to regret. Svetlana nodded. A plan was forming. She'd stop this marriage. The dinner happened 3 days later. Danilo and Olya arrived with a box of chocolates and a bottle of wine. Olya looked radiant, wearing a floral dress and heels that clicked too loudly on Svetlana's polished floors. "You must be Svetlana," Olya said. "Here, I got you these." She handed over a pair of fuzzy slippers. Svetlana stared at them. "Slippers?" "Yes. Same kind I got for my mom. Super comfy. Try them." She forced a smile and slid them on. A chill crept over her shoulders. Later that night, I would remind her. Slippers as a gift for a future mother-in-law are a death omen. But for now, she ignored the prickle in her gut. Danilo poured wine. Olya gushed about wedding venues and honeymoons. Svetlana pretended to listen, until Olya dropped a bomb. "We've already paid for the honeymoon. And made a down payment on the venue." Svetlana dropped her fork. "Without telling me?" "Mama," Danilo said gently. "I knew you'd be in Italy. You've had this trip planned for months. So cancel it," she snapped. "This is your wedding." "Mama, please don't make a scene," he said. But it was already too late. Svetlana's breath grew ragged. The room tilted. Danilo stood up. "Are you okay?" She clutched her chest. The last thing she saw was Danilo's face, going pale, before he collapsed on the floor beside her. Danilo collapsed right in the middle of the living room, his face ashen, his limbs trembling. For a few seconds, Svetlana thought he was joking, some sort of protest against her constant controlling behavior. But then she saw his eyes roll back. Olya screamed. Svetlana's blood ran cold. Her son was seizing, right before her eyes. The ambulance arrived within 10 minutes, but for Svetlana, it felt like hours. She and Olya sat side by side in the hospital's white hallway, both shaking, both silent. Doctors ran tests, hooked him up to machines, said it might have been his heart, or stress, or nothing at all. When Danilo finally woke up the next morning, he didn't remember what had happened. "It's probably exhaustion," the doctor shrugged. "But we'll keep him under observation for a day or two. Check his blood work again." "Exhaustion?" Svetlana wasn't convinced. Olya leaned over Danilo's bed and whispered something sweet. Svetlana watched it with a twist in her stomach. She should be relieved her son was okay. But all she felt was rage. And fear. She remembered the dream. The bloody tooth. The warning. And the words from blind Madame Grace. "Don't interfere, or you'll bury your son." The next morning, Svetlana returned to me, flustered, exhausted, and furious. "You were right," she admitted. "Something is wrong." I nodded. "You didn't listen, and now you've brought grief into your home." "It's her fault," she snapped. "That girl, Olya. She brought a cursed gift. Slippers. Can you believe it? Fuzzy pink slippers." I remained silent. "She said she gave her own mother the same kind," Svetlana added. "But I know what slippers mean. I read it online." I sighed. "Yes. Slippers are for the grave. That's why they must never be given to a future mother-in-law." "She did it on purpose. I'm sure of it." "No," I corrected her. "She bought the wrong thing for the right reason. But it's you who forced this meeting before it was time." Svetlana paled. "I just wanted to protect him." "Then do what I say now," I instructed. "Stay away. Don't attend the wedding. Don't call. Don't interfere." She looked horrified. "But what if she traps him? Uses him? Then he must learn. It's his path. Not yours." "But he's my baby." "He's a man," I snapped. "And you're the one tying his soul in knots. Let go before you lose him forever." Svetlana didn't listen. She went to her friend Victoria instead. There has to be another way, she hissed, pouring tea into fine porcelain cups. I won't sit back while she ruins his life. What if? Victoria leaned closer. You replaced her? Svetlana blinked. What do you mean? Diana, Victoria whispered. My daughter. Your son used to like her, remember? Before that Alya thing started. He never mentioned it. Doesn't matter. They'd be perfect together. Diana's classy. From a good family. Has her own business. Svetlana hesitated. And she's willing, Victoria added slyly. In fact, she's always had a soft spot for Danilo. Svetlana's mind raced. Was this wrong? Maybe. But it felt right. Let's do it, she said. Let's get rid of Alya. Step 1. Pretend to make peace. Svetlana invited Danilo and Alya over for coffee. She even apologized, half-heartedly, and offered them a peace gift. Her home. Temporarily, of course. Until the apartment sold. I just want to support you both, she said, forcing a smile. And since you're getting married, it would be nice to have you around more. Alya was skeptical, but Danilo convinced her. I think she's really trying, he whispered. Alya smiled. Okay. Let's try. Step 2. Introduce Diana. Svetlana opened a new store and made Diana the manager. She asked Danilo to help get it off the ground. They started working late together. Lunches turned into dinners. Texts became phone calls. She's just so easy to talk to, Danilo admitted one evening, rubbing his temples. No pressure. No drama. Alya noticed. Of course she did. But whenever she questioned Danilo, he waved it off. It's just business. Soon, Svetlana began to stoke the fire. She's pretty, isn't she? She said casually. Not like Alya. That girl is always sulking lately. Mama, stop. I'm just saying. You looked happier before. He didn't argue. Step 3. Sow jealousy. Svetlana accidentally left her phone on the kitchen counter one night, with a photo open of Danilo and Diana laughing at the store. Alya saw it. She said nothing. But the next day, she didn't come home. She went to a friend's. Turned off her phone. Didn't even text Danilo. And Svetlana smiled. When Danilo returned home to an empty apartment, he panicked. What if something happened? He muttered. She's not like this. Svetlana offered him tea. She's just being dramatic, she said. Maybe it's time you thought about what you really want. That night, Alya returned. Danilo barely looked at her. We need space, he said. This isn't working. But Danilo, she started. I'll pack your things, he said coldly. Svetlana watched from the hallway, heart pounding, lips pressed into a thin line. The next morning, Alya was gone. And Diana. She was having brunch with Danilo. Victoria called that afternoon. You did it, she said. You saved him. But Svetlana didn't feel victorious. She felt hollow. Because even though she'd won, her son no longer smiled. And that night, as she poured herself a glass of wine in the quiet kitchen, a single bloody tooth rolled across the floor beneath her chair. Her hands trembled. She knew what came next. Svetlana barely slept that night. She lay awake, staring at the ceiling, the image of the bloody tooth from her nightmare flashing through her mind over and over again. The apartment was quiet. Too quiet. No laughter. No late-night footsteps. No Alya humming while brushing her hair in the bathroom. Only silence. Danilo hadn't said much since Alya left. He was colder. More distant. He still worked with Diana, but he no longer smiled when talking about the shop. He came home late and left early. And though he never said it, Svetlana could feel it in the air. Something inside him had withered. And she had no idea how to fix it. One evening, she decided to check on him at work. I brought you lunch, she said, setting a neatly wrapped sandwich on the desk. Your favorite. Danilo barely looked up. Thanks. But I'm not hungry. You haven't eaten all day. I'm busy. There was a long pause. Svetlana stood in the doorway, clutching her purse. She hated seeing him like this, pale, withdrawn, a ghost of the man he'd been. She left Danilo, she said softly. You're free now. He finally looked up. His eyes were bloodshot. You think that's what I wanted, he said. Svetlana froze. I loved her, Mom. Then why did you push her away? Because she didn't trust me. Because every time I came home, she questioned where I'd been. Because she thought I was cheating. Were you? He didn't answer. Instead, he picked up the sandwich and tossed it in the trash. I'm going home. That night, Svetlana told Victoria what he'd said. He still loves her, she whispered. I ruined everything. You didn't ruin anything, Victoria replied sharply. He just needs time. But Svetlana wasn't convinced anymore. For the first time, she started to believe that maybe she had crossed a line. That maybe meddling had done more harm than good. She thought about calling Olya, apologizing, begging her to talk to Danilo. But she didn't dare. Pride held her back. 2 days later, it happened. The phone rang at 2:47 a.m. A voice on the other end. Male. Com. To Com. Are you Svetlana Nomenko? Yes. Who is this? There's been an accident. Your son. Danilo. He's been admitted to City Hospital. Intensive care unit. You should come immediately. She dropped the phone. The ride to the hospital was a blur. Lights flashing. Heart pounding. A scream caught in her throat. When she arrived, the doctor met her with a clipboard and a solemn expression. He suffered severe trauma in a car accident. Head injuries. Internal bleeding. We were able to stabilize him, but he's in a coma. We don't know when, or if, he'll wake up. Svetlana collapsed into a chair, sobbing uncontrollably. This wasn't supposed to happen. This wasn't part of the plan. She spent the entire night at Danilo's bedside, holding his hand, whispering apologies. I'm sorry, she cried. I only wanted what was best for you. Please, baby. Come back to me. But he didn't move. Not even a twitch. In the morning, a nurse came in to check his IV. Svetlana excused herself, walked down the sterile corridor, and called me. Please, she begged. Help me. He's dying. I met her at dawn. She was a wreck, mascara smeared, eyes swollen, hands trembling. You were warned, I said gently. She nodded. I didn't listen. Then listen now. I cannot bring him back. But love might. Whose love? She asked. The one he still dreams about. The one who waited at his side when no one else would. The girl you chased away. Alia. I nodded. You must bring her back. Or he won't come back at all. She won't talk to me. I called. She hung up. Then you go find her, I said. You stand before her, bare and broken, and beg her to forgive you. That is the price. If you want your son to live. Svetlana didn't waste another second. She drove to the train station, praying she wasn't too late, and found Olya just as she was about to board a train to her hometown. Please, Svetlana gasped. Don't go. Olya looked startled. What are you doing here? It's Danilo, she said. He's in the hospital. A coma. The doctors don't know if he'll wake up. Olya's face went pale. Why are you telling me this? She whispered. He kicked me out. I made him do it, Svetlana said, her voice breaking. I poisoned your relationship. I manipulated you both. And now my son is dying. Tears welled in Olya's eyes. You want me to fix what you broke? No, Svetlana said. I want you to save the man you love. For a long moment, Olya didn't move. Then she nodded. Let's go. Back at the hospital, Olya entered Danilo's room and sat beside him. She took his hand in both of hers and began to cry. "I'm here," she whispered. "Please come back. I love you." I never stopped. Svetlana stood in the doorway, watching silently. The machines beeped steadily. And then, Danilo stirred. Just slightly. A twitch. A flicker behind the eyelids. Olya gasped. "Danilo." He didn't open his eyes. But his fingers closed around hers. It took 3 more days for Danilo to fully wake up. But he did. The doctors were stunned. Svetlana wept. And when he finally looked at her, his eyes filled with tears. "I heard everything," he whispered. "I'm sorry," she said. "I won't interfere again." "You already did," he replied. "But you also brought her back." He reached for Olya's hand. She squeezed it gently. "I'll try to make it right," Svetlana promised. Danilo nodded. "Start by trusting me." Danilo's recovery was slow but steady. Every day he grew a little stronger. Every day he opened his eyes for longer, spoke a little more, smiled a little wider. But Svetlana couldn't shake the weight on her chest. She knew her son was alive, and that alone was a miracle. But the trust between them, once unbreakable, was fractured. And it would take more than tears to fix it. She spent her days bringing homemade soup, fluffing his pillows, checking his IVs as if she were a nurse. But Danilo kept his eyes on Olya. He only relaxed when she was near. It hurt. But Svetlana said nothing. She'd already said too much. One afternoon, as the sun poured through the hospital window, Danilo turned to her and said softly, "Mom, you don't have to come every day." Svetlana's smile twitched. "I know," she said. "But I want to." Danilo looked away. "Then sit," he said. "And just listen." She did. "I loved her," he said. "I still do. But you made me doubt her. You made her doubt me. You told me she was using me. And I believed you, because you're my mother." His words hit like knives. "I never meant to hurt you," Svetlana whispered. "But you did." He turned back toward her. "I almost died, Mom. And do you know what I thought about when I couldn't speak? Couldn't move." She shook her head. "Olya. Not you. Not the business. Not the house. Her. That's all I wanted, her hand in mine." Tears blurred Svetlana's vision. "She's here now. Because you begged her to come." "Yes," Svetlana admitted. "And I'd do it again. 1,000 times." Danilo took a deep breath. "Then let me go. Let me live my life." When he was released from the hospital a week later, he didn't return to her home. He and Olya moved in together again, into a modest apartment in the city. Close enough to visit. Far enough for space. Svetlana visited occasionally, never unannounced. She brought fruit baskets, helped unpack, even offered to pay for some renovations, but only if they asked. She was learning. Slowly. And then one day Olya called. "We'd like you to come over," she said. "There's something we want to tell you." Svetlana brought her best wine. She wasn't sure what to expect. An engagement announcement, maybe? A new apartment? But when she walked in, she saw it. An ultrasound picture on the fridge. "I'm pregnant," Olya said, beaming. "We wanted you to be the first to know." Svetlana froze. Her voice caught. Danilo stepped forward, smiling gently. "I wanted you to be part of our child's life. But only if you promise one thing. Anything. No more meddling. No more matchmaking. No more control." Svetlana nodded quickly, tears in her eyes. "I swear." He pulled her into a hug. "And Mom, thank you. For bringing her back." The months flew by. Svetlana kept her promise. She visited when invited, helped when asked, and focused on running her business. She even promoted a new regional manager, someone she let hire without micromanaging. She was healing, too. She and Olya grew closer. Slowly, cautiously. They went shopping together for baby clothes, laughed about baby names, and argued gently over stroller colors. It was the relationship Svetlana never thought she'd have, not with a daughter-in-law she once considered the enemy. And then came the day of the baby shower. The apartment was full of balloons, gifts, and family. Even Victoria came, bringing a pink blanket she'd crocheted herself. "She's lucky to have you," Victoria whispered, hugging Svetlana. "And you're lucky to have her." Svetlana nodded. "I know." Later that evening, when the guests had left and only the three of them remained, Danilo raised a glass of sparkling juice. "To new beginnings," he said. "To second chances," Olya added. "And Svetlana?" She raised her glass, too. "To letting go," she said. The next morning, she visited me again. "I did what you said," she smiled. I looked her over. "Yes," I said. "But not just because I told you. You did it because you learned to love without possession." She sighed. "It was hard. All good things are." "What now?" she asked. "What if I slip again?" I handed her a tiny satchel of lavender and sage. "Keep this near your bed. It will remind you to speak less and listen more." She laughed. "I'll need a dozen." "No. You only need one," I said, "if you've truly changed." She hugged me tight. "Thank you. Some lessons are learned in silence, others through suffering. But the hardest ones are those we teach ourselves, by watching the people we love nearly slip away, and knowing we were the ones who pushed them."